Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. We are live. Talk about how good Newcastle United are. I've got Liam and I've got friend of the channel, Fordey, with me this evening. Make sure you get involved tonight because we want to get your thoughts and your comments because, look, we've got the voice of reason. Liam's decided he's had enough because he's
already
the voice of reason. He's had enough. He doesn't like us anymore. He's had... Oh. He'll be back in a minute. Anyway, but we'll start in a second as soon as he returns. I'll give him a minute. But 40, just very, very briefly, Newcastle are 1-0 up from the first leg against Southampton. We're nearly there, aren't we?
Nearly there, mate. Listen, this time next week, we'll be all booking our tickets to Wembley, or they'll probably all be gone by then anyway. But yeah, like, what a change, aren't they? Like, this, just over a year ago, like, we was battling relegation, and now we're looking forward to cup finals at Wembley and possible top 4 finishes and stuff. Like, this is the stuff of dreams, isn't it? So, yeah, long may it continue.
Can't wait. Well, while Liam's getting himself sorted out, I'll let you have the first player. It's Nick Pope, of course. He's not really had to do too much this season, which is bizarre. But when he's had to be called upon, 40, he's been excellent so far. What would you give him out of 10?
Well, it's funny you should give me Pope because I was having a chat with one of our dear friends, Fumbi, a.k.a. Mr. Babatunde, according to someone else. And I was saying to him, like, he's our player of the season. And he was trying to argue with me saying, actually, it's the whole defensive line. I was like, look, put some respect on Pope's name. Yes, obviously the back line's contributed to his excellent form this season, but some of the saves he's pulled out as of late, even like the last game, like the 2 saves that he pulled off, absolute worldy saves. And like how he's not England number 1, I don't know. But we're not worrying about that tonight. Easy, like for me, he's not put a foot wrong really. So I would say 10 out of 10. And I know I'm setting the bar high, but fuck it, he's been that good. So 10 out of 10 for me for Pope. Like, try and convince me otherwise. That's what you got to do because, for me, best player this season for us.
What do you think, Liam? Do you think he has been the best player, or do you think potentially 10 out of 10's almost a bit too nice, a bit too generous because he hasn't had to do a lot because the defence has been so good?
But when he's been called upon, he's saved winning games. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You're just freezing a little bit. I don't know if you've got something close to you.
It's a fucking internet.
No, you're all right now. We'll
bear in mind, he's got 17 clean sheets to his name in competitions, so it's not too bad. Not a bad return for like £10 million, is it?
No, definitely not. But Liam, while you're still with us, and we can still see, you have been for the last 20 seconds. Nick Pope. He has been immense so far. Has it been one save in particular that stood out for you?
The save on one of the saves in the semi-final. I can't remember which one it was, but I think that was massively important. I think it was where he stuck a leg out, and I think it was not when he was 1-on-1 with somebody.
Yeah, it was Che Adams, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think that one massively sticks out because I don't think Southampton had a great deal of attack and threat until later on. So yeah.
Even one of the saves in the Palace game, the game before, like one of the saves he made, I think it was from point blank range. Like some of the stops he comes out with, tremendous acquisition. And funny enough as well, like I'll humbly eat my words. I didn't think he was a bad keeper, but I just thought that we didn't need a keeper at the start of the season. Like, I still believed in Dubravka and thought he was a good keeper, but obviously we've gone up a notch in terms of safe hands. The only thing possibly you could say like lets himself down is his kicking ability, his distribution, but really and truly, like he doesn't need to worry about that too much because the defense he's got in front of him, like nothing's getting past that, or not much is getting past that anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Liam, Kieran Trippier. Go on, sorry, Mike. Go on.
Oh, I think there must be a delay from my side. I think so. I apologise. It's any 20 minutes. So, but would you rather have a keeper that can kick a ball or a better keeper? So, like you look like Joe.
Someone that can save a shot, basically, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd rather have someone that can do the basics.
Jordan pick. I'm going to drop out and see if I can sort the in and out.
Right, you are, mate. No worries. We'll see you in 2 seconds.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I'll go Kieran Trippier then while Liam sorted himself out. I'm going to go 10 out of 10 as well for Kieran Trippier because Fordey, for me, he is literally been man of the match for most people or most fantasy football leagues this season. For me, he's just such a great head to have in that back four, experienced, the amount of assists. And I think a lot of people don't mention his positioning at times. He just knows where to be at the right places. And I think that's a massive, massive difference when you have somebody like that. And look, he's learnt the dark arts at Atletico Madrid as well, Fordey. So he's kind of almost teaching that to the likes of your Dan Burns, your Fabian Schär, Sven Botman, even Jamal Lascelles has been picking up on it occasionally as well when he's had to come in for the last few minutes. He's just been such a I was going to say something like such a inspiration, if you like, to this Newcastle defenders. But look, he's incredible.
He's been the catalyst for this whole movement, hasn't he? Like since we got the proper money in, like he was the catalyst for like, okay, I'm coming first, and then everyone else followed. So he's led by example on and off the pitch, and there's no like he's still an England international as well to this day, despite the plethora of England fullbacks, right backs that we have. Like he's still probably the first choice, I'll say, at least first or second. So for us, he's just been tremendous. Like again, 10 out of 10. Oh, he's back with his 1950s internet.
I've chucked her off TikTok, so hopefully that makes it a bit better.
It's already so much better. By the way, honestly, you'll be surprised. So let's see if I can ask you a question, Liam. And I'm not saying you like literally. If I can ask you a question, I live in New York. You live in North Shields. You might be able to get it by the time it reaches New York. So here we go. How good is Kieran Trippier in terms of his crossing ability and passing ability, and how much has that made an impact in the terms of that partnership with Willock and Almiron? Because I think Miggy needed somebody like a Kieran Trippier at right back.
I thought he's been shit the past couple of games. He's crossing and stuff, so I can't contradict what you just said. So, I'm not gonna lie, I can't agree, but yeah. Normally he's on point, so I don't know whether he's just going through a bit of a bad spell, but some of his passes have been atrocious. But I think he has that extra class that most teams in the top four are missing as a fullback. But generally, it's always on point.
Is he the best fullback in the league, Fordey?
Best fullback, he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. For what he can offer, I think so. Like, I know you might argue, Trent's there and all the rest of it, but Trent's got his own demons as well in terms of defending. But he's the full package, man. Like free kicks, corners. Sometimes I think we overwork him. In fact, do you know what I mean? Like, I would like to see maybe even in this window, but maybe in the next window, get someone that can kind of take that pressure off him, so he's not having to do everything. He's captain. He's fullback, obviously defensive duties, offensive duties, corners, free kicks. He does a lot. Do you know what I mean? And no offense to him, but he's not no spring chicken. So it will take a lot out of him, and that's probably the part of the reason why we're looking at a younger model, if you like, someone who can kind of learn from him whilst he's still in his prime. So yeah, he is definitely for me the best fullback in the league. But again, obviously I'm going to be biased in it because it's my club. So, but yeah, I think the full package, he offers the full package. So why not? Oh, it's gone again.
Yeah, Liam's just had enough. He's just had enough tonight. So he just doesn't like me. He loves you, Ford. He just doesn't like me. There's only like one person from any 29 on the stream. The last point I would say on Trippier is if he does get an injury, I think you can replace Schär, you can replace Botman with moving Burn into centre half and maybe bringing in a Matt Targett or whoever at left back. But I think Kieran Trippier to Javier Manquillo is such a drop, like such a big drop. So I really worry. Yeah,
big drop indeed. Like that's the reason why. Like again, it's not a position that we need to fill ultimately now because you still got Manquillo, like you mentioned. Kraft is still there. Obviously, he's injured, right? So again, we still got right backs, but if we want to start moving to the next level now, we need to start thinking about these things going forward. So whilst we've still got a Trippier at the club, this is probably the best time now to bring in an understudy and learn from him. And then going forward, then we can just have a seamless transition when Trippier retires, hopefully at the club.
Definitely. Look, I think we've spoke about how good Kieran Trippier is, so I think we should move on to Fabian Schär, which is mine. And I've already got the score ready. So I've got 9.5 out of 10 for Fabian Schär.
9.5.
I think he's been absolutely immense. Look, he's one of the only players in the team, Fordey, that hasn't been on a losing team for Newcastle. He's been that important to the defence this season. What I really like about Fabian Schär, we've spoken about this so many times, he's so calm in the football, we know that. But I think he's improved so much defensively this season. Or probably since the turn of the year, since Eddie Howe has taken over. I think maybe the fact he knows he's the number one centre-half. Let's be honest, he is the number one centre-half in this team. And he's probably thought, I'm loving this. I'm loving this responsibility. I'm loving the fact that, the fact that I'm the one that I know I'm going to play week in, week out if I play well. It's as simple as that. And look, I just think he's been absolutely fantastic. The goal against Nottingham Forest on the first day of the season, he played so well against. I'm trying to think of who was he amazing against. I thought he was brilliant against Chelsea. I think that's one game that springs to mind. Aston Villa had a good game, and the clean sheets, like 10, 11 clean sheets in a row, whatever it is. It's incredible. Newcastle don't have good defences, but in your opinion, Fordey, if Schär is the best centre half at the club right now? Is he better than Botman on form right now?
I wouldn't say. It's a tough one, isn't it? It was sport for choice right now. I think he just offers so much something different, innit? He doesn't. Funny thing is as well, Johnny, he doesn't look like a typical centre half, does he? Do you know what I mean? Like, good looking guy, bit slender. He's not like strapping like 6 foot something, like close to 7 foot, not like Dan Burn anyway. But he just offers something different. So calm on the ball, going forward. Good ball playing centre half as well, and like best centre half, I'm still gonna go over to Botman. Like, I think Botman's just been that next level. Do you know what I mean? Like, people already saying like he's top centre halves that they've seen in their lifetime. I know we always say like Woodgate and maybe Philip Albert might creep into there, but people are already putting Botman in there. And they've only seen a half a season, but Fabian Schär, by all means, like he's definitely, he complements him so well as well. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say like if he's not number one, he's probably number 2.
Do you also think the fact that he got a new contract as well, Fordey, really helps? Because I think he was buzzing. You could tell in his interview when he got the new contract that he was absolutely delighted. He was probably like almost an ambition to make sure that he stays at a Premier League club towards his back end of his 20s, maybe going into his early 30s, and you're thinking, that sets me up for life a little bit. So he must be absolutely buzzing with that. Do you think that he can go from strength to strength now?
Well, yeah, it's another one of Eddie Howe's improvements, isn't it? Like, he's one that was brought from the previous regime. Rafa brought him in, and again, potentially, like, we was all kind of having this debate before the start of the season: is he going to play? Is he going to start? Because again, Botman probably was going to start. Dan Burn really didn't put a foot wrong, but I think Schär's made it his own, and like you said, like Schär is probably the first choice over the other 2, funny enough, even though I'd say Botman's probably maybe a stronger centre-half, but Schär seems to be the one that you put alongside someone as opposed to Botman. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's because of the whole right-footed centre-half, left-footed centre-half thing, but he seems to start every single game, and then you've got to put someone alongside him as opposed to the other way around.
Are you basically trying to say, Fordey, that I was right all along, that Botman and Schär's the best partnership in Newcastle United?
Listen, okay, you can have that one, yeah? I'll let you have that one.
What are you going to say? Something like a broken clock's right twice a day? Is that what you're going to say?
No. I'll admit, listen, you can have that one if, but our conversation when we met up at Wakefield and we talked about Matt Targett being a B-Tech Paul Dummett, someone said that. And, Matt Targett's got to go in because he's so fantastic. Where's Matt Targett now? Doesn't
he can't play if he's injured.
He's not been injured that long. Dan Burn is there on merit. Don't say he's there just because he's injured. No way. Dan Burn never deserved to get dropped. And I said it from the start. If you go back to the start of your videos at the start of the season, I said Dan Burn deserves to stay there. And he shows the reason why he's there. He's from Blythe, and he's our left back. He's not going anywhere. So I'll let you have that Schär one if you let me have that acknowledgement of Dan Bird is not going anywhere. Deal?
Well, we'll see, because we've still got one more play before we go to Dan Bird. Right, you're not going to believe this, Fordey, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this, right? We have got somebody waiting to jump in, right? He's an absolute legend, right? Third time a charm, I'm hoping here.
Oh,
Ladies
God,
and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Liam Kerr.
No way.
No.
Liam's come on.
Liam, quickly. Actually, no, it's Fordey's turn, actually. So, Fordey, Sven Botman. What you scored him first, I can put it on the screen.
I'd have to give him a 10, mate.
Really?
Yeah. I think I had a bit of a
Why?
slow start, but I had to get used to the league. But ever since then, mate, just pure Rolls Royce, like different gravy. Like for the money that we've got him as well for, absolute snip. Like if you look at some of the money that's been splashed around for centre halves, whether it be this season or previous seasons, if Maguire's worth 80 mil, bloody hell, how much is Botman worth? You know what I mean? Chelsea signed for Fordey for what, 70, 80 million? Botman for 30 odds? Come on. Absolute bargain that is. And the thing is, he's so young, international. Like, if we've got this guy from, years to come, we've got an absolute legend on our hands.
I've never, sorry, buddy, I'm really sorry. I've just seen Liam, like, he froze like a second, but you could tell the what he was trying to do is anger. He's actually in, but he didn't want to say anything while you were talking. It was an absolute picture. And
Liam's got that like dial-up internet. You remember back in the day when he used to go, ear.
Right, Liam, I'm going to ask you, is Sven Botman the best signing in the summer on value because of that £30 million?
Yes.
Freeze if you mean yes.
I'll tell you what, Liam, I'll take you off the stream just for 2 seconds. Why don't you try and get on your 4G or your 5G, whatever, if that can work, and we'll talk about Sven Botman. I'll answer my own question for you, I think.
You do.
I'll answer my own question. Look, for that money and the value and what he's brought to Newcastle United on that left-sided centre half, I think you have to say it probably is the best value in terms of value for money. Look, you can talk about Haaland, 65 million up front. I know there's so many more fees to come with that.
Yeah,
and he has scored a bucket loads. So he's the only person I can see quite close to that in terms of value for money. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, that's about it, really. Like, as you said, Haaland's been phenomenal this season, but for us, our club, like, we've never been usually blessed with centre halves. Let's face it, we could probably do a whole video on the ones that will make the not make the list, that's for sure. But we're so blessed now to have 3 quality centre halves, 4, like, let's say 3 top tier centre halves. Do you know what I mean? That's the reason why our actual captain can't even get into the team right now. God bless him. But Sven Botman, absolute different gravy, mate. 10 out of 10.
Has he got the best chant as well?
Possibly, possibly. Who hasn't got a chant as it goes? Has Callum Wilson got one? It's Callum Wilson there. Yeah, I suppose.
To be fair, we've got some good songs, haven't we? I like the bottom one because I love me darts. So that's the only reason why I'm saying it. But in all seriousness, look, I'd probably say that Pretty Green Eyes for Dan Burn's a real good one as well. I have to be honest.
Yeah. I was about to say that stuck in my head after he scored that goal. That stuck in my head all day the next day as well, man. Oh God.
I think you're a bit of a musical genius, right, Fordey? So if Fabian Schär, because he hasn't really got a song, like the closest I've heard to Fabian Schär in terms of a song was when I was in Wonderbar. Because what they do in Wonderbar, for people that have never been, because there's loads of people that have. So an hour before the game, because you get no reception in Wonderbar, and everyone's in a great mood and mad mix on the mics. This should be just sponsored by Wonderbar, to be honest. But he'll do each player with a song. So Nick Pope, in the middle of our goal.
Yeah.
Dan Burn, Pretty Green Eyes.
Yeah.
was going to say? Sven Botman. Sven Botman.
Yeah.
Kieran Trippier. Obviously, Kieran Trippier's.
Over the wall.
Kieran Trippier. Over the
Over
wall.
the wall. Yeah.
But the only one they've got for Fabian Schär is Fabian Schär, my lord. Fabian Schär. It doesn't really work.
Yeah, not really. I can't really see that ringing off at St James's Park. I can't really. Yeah, it sounds a bit too churchy.
To be fair, we haven't mentioned Isak, but Jay from Atlanta, I have to give this a shout out. Gimme a man. Well, gimme a striker for Sweden. He's our centre forward and he plays an attack. Right, let's move on to Dan Burn. It's me for Dan Burn. Wrong one. Before I get pretty green eyes with pretty green eyes. Jonny hasn't got a clue. That's not happening. Dan Burn, he's been absolutely immense. I'm gonna go 9.5 for Dan Burn.
All right, okay. I was gonna say, me and you pulled out.
The only slightest, I'm nitpicking here, Fordey.
Yeah,
I'm nitpicking, right? Just want him to be a bit more adventurous going forward when he does have the ball in terms of the left back, because he isn't obviously a complete natural left back. And I know his first job from Eddie Howe is to be defensive because they end up being three at the back when Trippier moves forward. So I completely understand that. Yeah. And sometimes he has been caught out by the pace, like Saka in the first 10, 15 minutes. There's been other instances that we've mentioned. So that's why he's not getting a 10. And I know you're probably thinking you could give a 10 to everybody, 40, but I think the biggest praise I can give him before you talk about how I might be right or wrong in different statements.
Yeah.
The fact that he's come in pretty much second, third game of the season at left back, and the caliber of teams we've played, we've only lost one game. That's incredible, really.
The fact that he came in, as I said before, and just proved you wrong and said, like, you know what, I deserve to be in this team, that gives me a 10 out of 10 already. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, Matt, but no targets getting in this team at all, whether you're injured or not. You know, he hasn't put a foot wrong, and the fact that we've just got Sven Botman, he has to obviously slot into the team, but Dan Burn has made that left back position his own. And talk about him not going forward. Do you remember how he got to the Carabao Cup semi-final? Do you remember a certain guy scoring a goal? Jinking.
Of course, he scored a great goal for it, but I think it's more from whoever's been on the left, the Joe Willocks or the Joelintons of this world, and he has that overlap running. He almost like stops and goes back. Sometimes he could just whip it in with a cross, which he's starting to do slightly.
He's not a real whipping in sort of guy. He's not an Andy Robertson, is he? He's more steady, just, I'm here if you need me sort of thing. Because we can't all be bombing forward. Like Trippier bombs on forward from that side, great, cool. But from the other side, he's probably trying to work out who's in front of him. Like it's either Willock or Joelinton. Someone's got to be back there. So I think it works in our favour. Obviously, I would love to have flying fullbacks, a bit like how Liverpool do and Chelsea do and all the rest of it now. But listen, if it's gotten us this far and we've not conceded that many goals, then who am I to judge? You know what I mean? The only thing is as well, maybe not going forward down the wings, but set pieces, he should be cleaning up. Surely 6 foot.
Hasn't scored with a header.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 6 foot what? 6'7". He should be dominating in the air. So.
He should be, but that'll come in time. That'll come in time, just for sure. I've sung a song. It's your turn to sing a song. So are you going to give us the Pretty Green Eyes Dan Burn version?
Maybe not tonight. But I just know he's from Blythe.
What a bottle job.
He's from Blythe. Never. No, that's it. That's enough for me. Listen, I'm not going to start dancing either.
What an absolute
how's he not getting 10 out of 10 for those dance moves?
Everybody.
How's he not getting 10 out of 10 for those dance moves as well? On Sky as well. He did it on Big Sky. Come on.
Absolutely amazing. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all the way from 29.
Not again.
One more time. It's Dan Burn himself, ladies and gentlemen. It's Liam Kerr, the Dan Burn of Newcastle Fans TV. Right. Come on. We've got through so much together. Liam, you have got the man of the moment, Mr. Bruno Guimaraes. What are you giving Bruno?
I think it's got to be 10 out of 10, hasn't it?
Why?
The bar's set high.
I think he just makes everything tick. I think when he's having an off game, the whole team feels it, and when he's firing on all cylinders, you can tell the team are a lot better. I think he's passing, his work rate is just phenomenal, and I think it rubs off on everybody else. For someone that's been here just a year, he gets it. He gets it from the moment he steps on that pitch. He gives 110%.
He certainly does. Do you think Fordey, in terms of Bruno, do you think that his performances have been always like that, or do you think they've fluctuated? Or what do you think? Because I think he is still the first name on the team sheet in midfield, obviously.
Yeah, I think sometimes his performance has taken a little bit of a dip sometimes, only because he's probably had to do more defensive work. Like, ideally, in this January transfer window, I would love to have seen sign a defensive midfielder so we can push him forward, give him a bit more of a free role. Because I think that's been bit of the downside of having to be the main man. Like, he's doing it all and he's taking it all upon his back. Like, that's the only downside to him, because he's got Joelinton next to him sometimes, then he's got Longstaff to him the other times as well. I feel like if he had someone on his level, then we'd be able to fully see him shine and just like release the shackles, man. Like, free Bruno and just let him just roam free. Because, you know, if we just
free Bruno.
Free Bruno. If we just like had him just like floating, just do whatever he wanted, and knowing full well that behind him it's all sorted, then, you know, oh god, we'd probably be doubling up on all of our goal scores, because a lot of the time we're just winning 1-0s and a lot of 0-0s and stuff like that, which is great. But we want to start seeing some goals now. We want to start getting back to like the entertainment era where we start knocking teams for 4s and 5s now, don't we?
I think, Liam, the standout game for Bruno Guimaraes for me so far this season was at home to Brentford. You know, Fordey's second team. He was absolutely immense. He scored 2. He ran the park. He ran the middle of the park, and you know, he honestly he could have had a Ballon d'Or just for that game. He was that good, in my opinion. But I think the one thing I would say about Bruno is that there are still certain passes that, as a fan, you expect he's just going to do the straightforward pass or the pass that you expect to happen. And then when you see a different sort of pass, you're thinking, how does he see that? How does he see that? In terms of that football intelligence, have we ever seen a player like that, Liam?
You could probably argue George Shelby is a similar sort of player, but I think obviously Bruno's on the next level. He's like Kevin De Bruyne essentially, isn't he? But Bruno's a lot better. So. It's me and Annette went again.
A tiny bit, but I just didn't want to break it to you. That's all. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do. But in terms of that quote, though, I think that our Kevin De Bruyne, I think that just shows how good Bruno is for you, because he is that important to us, isn't he? When he's not playing, you notice straight away. You know, he sticks out like a sore thumb for you. Yeah,
especially in the centre midfield. Like, we don't really have anyone who could do that. Like, Longstaff's not going to be. If Bruno was to be out injured, like when he got injured in the previous game, and we thought he was going to be out for a while. I don't know about you, but I was just shitting it, thinking like, who's going to take over that mantle? Because Longstaff's not that guy, Joelinton's not that guy, Joe Willock's not that guy. So we do maybe over rely on him too much, and hopefully we can get through. Hopefully we can get through to the end of the season with him just being injury free. Because especially if and when we get to the final, like, he's going to be a key man for us. But what I also love about him is just like, you know, when he G's up the fans and stuff like that, like those little moments there where he's going, yeah, and all the rest of it. And even like when my man got sent off from Southampton the other game, like, I just love that shithousery. Like, we need that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. We're going to say goodbye to Liam because he's had enough. He's just said to me, Johnny, I'm going to drop out. It's really annoying me, but in really bad language. It will make me look really bad. So, Liam, on behalf of me and Fordey, we'll see you later on. I'll give you a hug and a pint next time.
Hold on, I'll give him the Jacob Murphy.
Bye, Liam.
Bye.
Let's just do that again. Let's do that again. Bye. Right. Right. Joelinton's next. 9 out of 10 for Joelinton. Right. Reason why I'm giving Joelinton a 940 is because he's been sometimes had to play on the left, and I still don't think at times we've seen the best of Joelinton in that position. That's more than Eddie Howe fault, you probably have to say. But I still think at times he's missed sitters where, look, Southampton's the perfect example. He could have scored 4 against Southampton on his own. But I think for me, he needs to be in the centre. And I think if he stays in the centre of midfield, and I think at the minute on form, Joe Willock would be the one that drops out. So
yeah and no.
Just about on form. I think Sean's never not getting dropped at the minute. So I think if Joelinton plays in the centre of midfield from now to the end of the season and stays fit, Newcastle are in the top 4, in my opinion. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, Fumbi's going to hate you, by the way. Just letting you know, because that's
no. Me and Fumbi get on well. I
literally had a chat with him this morning. As I said before, I said Nick Pope is our guy of the season, our man of the season, and then Fumbi said Joelinton was. So yeah, expect a couple, nasty messages from Fumbi. I'm just letting you know in advance. But like Joelinton, I agree. 9 out of 10. He's been phenomenal, obviously, since Eddie Howe's come in. But for me, like you said, some of the cities that he's missed. I was even worried about at the start of the season when he had to kind of get all those red cards out of his system remember in the friendlies. Excuse me. Yeah, they were a bit crazy. But obviously what's happened of late, he needs to learn from that sort of stuff, the stuff off the pitch as well. But sometimes I always wonder about what's he doing in terms of improving his touch, because a lot of the time I see he has got a heavy touch. Like he's a big lad nonetheless, and he runs through his players, but sometimes his touch could be a little bit more softer, caressing the ball rather than just it bouncing like a bit of a trampoline touch. But all in all, it's been a phenomenal, not phenomenal sign at the start, but over time he's grown into be like probably a second or third on the team sheet.
Lee Clark, friend of the channel, Fordey, was speaking on Talk Sport the other morning, and basically said Joelinton was basically made out as the worst signing Newcastle had ever made in their history, and now people are debating he's the best ever signing that Newcastle have ever made in their history. Does that just tell you the turnaround that he's had, and where do you stand on that? Because £40 million for Joelinton now doesn't seem ridiculous, does it?
It doesn't. I wouldn't jump all the way out the window and say that he's our best ever now, but he's definitely the 40 millions definitely look a lot better now, because at first I was like, yo, where's that receipt? We need that receipt back. Is it still valid? Is our warranty still valid? But now we figured out that he's more of a centre midfielder, DM sort of number 6 or 8, should we say, Johnny, rather than an out and out number 9 like we first thought.
For people that don't know, me and Fordey did a video just before lockdown in 2020 where we were discussing who was shitter between Joelinton, Almiron, and who was the other one? Joelinton, Almiron. Who was the other one? Fordey, Maxi. It was Joelinton, Almiron, and Maxi, wasn't it? ASM.
Maybe,
And I always remember you going, "Well, he's shit. He's shitter, but he's not as shit as the shitter." And it was like, "Oh yeah, what's going on here? What's going on here?" But yeah, it's one of those things. Let's move on to Joe Willock.
Oh, okay.
This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one because I think he has gone a little bit up and down. What would you give him firstly, so I can put it on the screen, and why would you give that rating?
Right, Joe Willock. Probably an 8. And that's probably been, I would say 8's a fair score. Just because,
why?
I feel like since we've signed him, obviously he's not going to maintain the same form that, what we signed him for when he had that run against. But I think since we signed him like properly, he's kind of, like you said, he's kind of peaked and troughed and all the rest of it now. I think the whole playing him out wide is maybe not to his full benefit, if I'm being honest. Like he's probably more of almost like a number 10, just like free roll. Because when he was going through that run of form, I feel like he was playing just behind the striker, right? He wasn't playing off the left. It didn't feel like it. And now he's just plonked out of position. Like we utilize him well. So when we're on breakaways and stuff like that, he's pacey as fuck. But I was just not seeing the same form that we signed him for. And, like when we do sign someone, whether it be Gordon or Maddison or whoever, he'll probably be the first one to lose his place, unfortunately.
It's a funny one, Willock, because I've always been a big fan of Willock. I have to be honest. I've always been on the side of supporting Willock, because I think, we've seen what happened when obviously Steve Bruce bought him, which seems like a long time ago now, and he had that purple patch where he was scoring goals for fun, and now he can't seem to find the back there. But the one thing I will stick up with Joe Willock is that he's getting in the right spaces. He is getting chances on goals, just not putting away. But you could say that about everybody for Newcastle at the minute. They're just not putting their chances away. 1-0 against Southampton could have been 3-0 before Southampton got into the game on Tuesday night. But look, it will be interesting to see what happens with him, because I think you make a really good point. If Newcastle do bring in another midfielder, or if they decide to go, you know what, we'll get another winger so we can put Joelinton in the midfield. I think he's at most risk. But what a hell of a player to bring on if we need to change up a little bit for him.
No, for sure. Like he almost reminds me of remember when we signed Jonas Gutierrez, and he used to frustrate me. Obviously great guy and all the rest of it, and his story as well, like is phenomenal. But the main reason why I remember hearing that we used to use him is because he used to get us up the pitch, and that's what I feel like he does. He's that outlet of like, okay, we need to, once we've soaked up all the defensive pressure, we've got Joe just to get us up the pitch, break away, fast as hell. And that's all we're using him for. But now he needs to start adding the goals to his game, because like we said, we're going to now start improving in those attacking thirds, and he's going to be the first to go. Everyone else in the midfield has their purpose. Bruno, playmaker, maybe potential captain. Joelinton just breaks everything up. Longstaff is just the engine. And then you look at Joe Willock and like, okay, what's the difference that you bring that makes you have to stay in the team? Like, you're in the team now by default because, John Joe Shelby, not quite favoured right now. And then we don't really have any more midfield options. But like we said, as soon as we sign someone who's going to be taking us to the next level, like he's the one who's probably most likely to go. And it's a shame, because again, we spent quite a fair bit of money on him as well. So
25 million. There's a lot of money back there. There was a lot of money back then for Newcastle. 25 million is your opening bid for Anthony Gordon, which we might touch on towards the end of the stream. I've got Mr. Miggy Almiron, even though that's not his song. It's na 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 na. Miggy Almiron. Miggy Almiron. I'm in a musical mood today. But, I don't know why. I really don't know why. But look, if you've got a favourite Newcastle song right now, put it in the comments, and I'll put them on screen a little bit later, because I think everyone's in such a good mood. And can you imagine the amount of songs that people are going to be singing on Tuesday, before the game, after the game, during the game, especially if the result goes well in terms of during and after the game. And look, if we do end up taking a trip down to London town, potentially, even though Wembley's just about in London, isn't it, Ford? It's not. It's literally, if the border of London's there, it's literally just there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still London. It's still there. It's still the pride of West London as well. But anyway, you're supposed to be talking about Miggy Almiron, not flipping Wembley. Hold your horses, son. Hold your horses.
I know. Tell me off. Miggy Almiron. Look, most goals for Newcastle. If someone said that to me in the summer, I'd have been going, what? What? That's why it's a 10 out of 10. It's simple as that. Look, 9 goals in the Premier League this season. The goal against Aston Villa. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I think, for me, that was the moment where people gone, wow, what a transformation for you. That goal on his left peg, right into the top corner. If I was being really, 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 really picky, and he could have had an extra 2 or 3 goals this season, if he could use his bloody right foot. So maybe that'll come next season.
Yeah.
What's your Mickey moment of the season so far?
Obviously the purple patch that he had, phenomenal run, and you know how I feel about him as well. Like, I've been one of his biggest critics, just to be more selfish. But the fact that he's now, or during that period of time, he was just more selfish. He was taking every shot that he was taking, it seemed like he was going in. And then he had his own highlight reel for that period of time, didn't he? Like, every goal he scored was a banger. But yeah, you've just taken the words out of my mouth, basically. Like, if he could just use his right foot, he'd probably be on double the amount, to be honest. I think now he's gone a little bit back into his shell now, been a bit too unselfish rather than being selfish. So, you know.
I've just got to put this. I'm just going to put this comment up. I literally just forgot about this with Miggy. The goal at Fulham.
Oh my days!
God.
Yeah. Goal at Fulham. Yeah. Oh man, and he's bearing in mind. Remember, once upon a time, he was our record signing. Seems like so many years ago, isn't it? So
20
many times
million.
ago.
20 million. What's 20 million these days?
That's chop change to us now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look. How many goals do you think Miggy will end up with this season? He's on 9. Do you think he'll get 15?
You say 15?
Do you think he'll get 15?
No. I reckon he'll get a couple more. Maybe about 11, maybe 12 if you're lucky. I think
I think he'll get 15. It's only 6 goals.
He's not. Again, he's just slowed down a little bit. I don't know why. You know, he's just not shooting on sight again. He needs to get back to just being selfish, being that guy. I think once ASM comes back into the team as well, I think that might hinder him. I think when ASM was out of the team, that also helped him just be like, he is the guy. Because I often said it enough times, like to you, like when they're both in the team, he kind of shies away because it's the ASM show. Give it to me. I'm taking over. But as soon as ASM was out of the team for whatever reason, he took on the mantle and he provided. But I also want to say one more thing as well. Like sometimes I just wish if you try him out at number 10, like maybe if we do get Gordon, imagine playing all three of them, Gordon on one side, ASM on the other side, Miggy through the middle, like something different, you know? Because he does play, I think he does play number 10 for his country, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, he does.
So maybe try him out there, see what he does. Imagine have Miggy just free roll just to do what he wants, innit?
Yeah, it is mental when you think about it, isn't it?
Frightening.
Hey, Callum Wilson.
Are we just skipping Longstaff? No,
we're not. It's just the way I've written it down, so I do apologise. It's a bit all over the place. So it's Callum Wilson next. But you ruined my song because it's going to go, hey, Callum Wilson, I want to know what Fordey will score you. Fordey, what you scoring, Mr. Wilson? Today?
What am I scoring, Mr. Wilson? Right. So, remember, this is over the course of the season, so I'd have to give him a 9.
A 9 out of 10 for our number 9. I knew you were going to do that, Fordey. Do you know why I knew you were going to do that? Because look at this, look at that, look at
that. Yeah.
Great minds think alike, Fordey. Look, since he came back from the World Cup, he hasn't scored, but he has set up a goal for Isak. And people are kind of not whinging their tits off a little bit, but they're kind of going, oh. But how good was he before the World Cup, by the way? The Villa game, in particular, was amazing. Man City game.
Start of the season, you know, bang him in for fun. That's the reason why I went to the World Cup. But like you said, after that, now he's got some competition on his hands. You know what I mean? And to be fair now, like, he's got less competition and he should be doing better. We've just sold Wood. He's only got Isak now. Should he be performing more? I think so. Because, you know, I think he's been the automatic striker choice. A, maybe due to Isak being injured, or B, because he knows Eddie Howe very well, or C, because,
he's been like that since he's come into the club. 40, sorry to butt in, but he's had no competition really, has he?
I'm saying maybe he's getting a bit too, I'm going to start every game anyway. Do you know what I mean? But now, Isak's coming into form now. Like you said, he scored the other night. He set up the other night as well, Isak. So people are calling him for it. Either maybe try out the 2, or if we're only going to just play the one up top, might be time to give Isak a run. You know, he deserves it. We can only go on merit.
You don't sit on the fence a lot. You sometimes do, but so on Tuesday night against Southampton, if Eddie Howe decides to go just one up top, who starts, Wilson or Isak?
Isak. Has to be.
Easy decision?
Yeah, has to be. Like we've still got one of them 2 waiting in the wings anyway, whether we go Wilson or Isak. But for me, it has to be Isak. Like I said, like he set up Joelinton in the previous game, scored in the game before that against Fulham. Oh no, 2 before that, sorry, against Fulham. Like Isak deserves it. He's hot on his heels, and that's what we want. We want competition for places. Do you know what I mean? There's no real wrong answer in this, is it? because we've got two good centre forwards, which we haven't had for what, Demba Ba and Cisse, maybe, when we're going back that far back.
Whoa, Dwight Gale, come on, put some respect on that name.
And Galland and yeah, like I was saying, so we've got two good centre forwards, so there's no real wrong answer in this. So again, I'd have to go with Isak.
Look, it's going to be an interesting one. I'd probably say Callum Wilson just about starts in Eddie Howe's mind. In my mind, I agree with you. I think Isak has to start, but I think Eddie Howe starts Wilson just to be on the safe side. And plus, I've got an extra game against West Ham, which people kind of forget about. You forget about the Premier League a little bit. We're third in the Premier League. Did I tell you, Fordey, right? We're above Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool this season.
I know. It's crazy times.
Who would have thought that before a ball was kicked halfway through the season? You only got Man City and Arsenal. Let them fight it for the title. I don't care. Finish third this season.
let them two have their moment for now, because there'll be a time where it'll be us. We're not too far away.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll have that really important question to answer. If you're from London, how are you a Newcastle fan?
Yeah, like I get that already. Oh yeah, all right, Jesus.
Can't wait for Sam Muller, because he just bites it going, I didn't know that Newcastle was 200 miles away. Oh, anyway, we'll leave that one for another day. Right, this is a really generous score from me, and it's Alan Saint-Maximin. Really generous. 8 out of 10. Right, the reason why I'm going for 8 out of 10, because there has been moments, and the moment is the reason why he's getting an 8 out of 10. And people need to remember, it's the whole the way from the start of the season to now.
Mm-hmm.
That Manchester City performance and the Wolves performance at the start of the season was absolutely incredible. Had his moments against Forest as well. Obviously, the injury was disappointing. It came at the wrong time for ASM. But I just, for some reason, that Man City performance in particular, I can't really get that out of my head. And I know it's only one game, and don't kill me in the comments. But for me, that was unbelievable. Like, when Pep Guardiola seen Alan Saint-Maximin run the ball and he goes like this and onto his knees, that's what ASM can do. Don't get me wrong. He does frustrate living daylights out of me. But I've seen subtle changes for him in his game. I mean, subtle changes where he's not holding onto the ball too long. He looks at Isak, for example, on Tuesday, and he looks to try and get him in. And he's the only player that, for me, in our team, is capable of doing what he did towards the end of the game against Southampton, and where Southampton go down to 10 men. I know 8's being very generous. He probably deserves a 7, maybe a 7.5. But that Man City performance and the Wolves goal at Molineux is unbelievable. But tell me why I'm probably slightly wrong.
No, I'm going to agree with you, mate, because as you said, like, to do it against, those are the big games that we really want the big players to do it against. Like, there's no bigger than Man City, and you're turning players inside out, running them ragged. So by all means, that's great. But for me, I feel like with his new changes, we've kind of castrated him a little bit. We've taken that edge away from him. It's like back in the day, it's like asking, I don't know, Peter Beardsley to track back and defend or no, do you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know, I can understand reasons why we've done that, because, you know, sometimes he hogs the ball too much. But with those sort of flair players, you kind of just got to leave them to their creative devices. Otherwise, you're taken away from what makes them them. So I don't know if it's helped or hindered us in that sense, because we're not seeing the full ASM that we want to see. Like, when I see him coming onto the pitch, I get excited. Like, I want to start seeing the party pieces and all the rest of it. But now if he's doing one trick and then he's passing back or passing sideways, I'm like, that's not the ASM that I know. That's not what I came to see. So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. But yeah, 8 out of 10 seems fair.
Does he start on Tuesday for you? Because a lot of people are calling for it, with the same with Isak. But both players could come on after 60 minutes if they need to and just finish the job. But I think a lot of people are putting that expectation on ASM and Isak to go at the start. By half time, the tie's over.
That's it. I think we just go for the kill, go for the juggler. I know it's nice to have them coming off the bench, but if we could kill the game off early doors, especially with the the game against West Ham not too long after that as well. That benefits us more, right? You know what I mean? Imagine if we start Isak, who's been on form, ASM, who's been on form, and they deserve it. Kill the game off by half time, 60 odd minutes. Then we can start resting players, knowing that we're going through to the final, and then we've got a couple of days later West Ham, rather than do it the other way around. And no doubt we'll probably have them sit behind the ball for 70 odd minutes, because that's what teams have been doing to us for like the last couple of games now, haven't they? Like, they've been sitting behind the ball, waiting to break. That's the reason why we've had so many 0-0 draws. But if we can get the likes of ASM on the ball, give him longer than 20 minutes a game, unlock and tear whoever to pieces, it's a no-brainer for me. Start him.
Yeah. Like, massive call by Eddie Howe, whatever he decides to do. But Southampton have an FA Cup game in the middle of it, so I'm glad they're in the FA Cup, and I'm sort of glad we're not, but we'll leave that one for another day. Jacob Murphy's next to you, 40. What would you give him out of 10 and why?
Are you definitely bypassing Longstaff? You just don't like him at all?
No, he's literally after Murphy. It's just the way I've got it written down. It's just ignore the way I've done it. Just ignore it.
Shocker. Jacob Murphy. Oh, mate. I think I'm giving him this purely because he's a Londoner who supports Newcastle. So that's my only little tie-in with him. But I'd probably have to give him an 8 as well. And it probably should be a 7, 7.5. That's what I'm saying. It probably should be a 7 or 7.5, but he's getting the down south Geordie pass, so he's getting an extra half. And especially for that as well. He's definitely getting an extra little half mark as well. So realistically, yes, people in the comments, he should be getting 7, 7.5, because anytime I do see him come on.
So why'd you give him an 8 then?
I told you, because he's the down south Geordie and he gets half mark for doing this. That is hilarious. That is going to be
when he's just do that with his toes and his feet when he's through on goal.
Yeah, when he's like doing the talkings when he's like 50 odd, that'll be the moment of his. That'll be the defining moment of his Geordie career, of his Newcastle career. Like, doing that in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, he'll get asked that for the rest of his career now, because that's just like a defining moment. But for me, we definitely need to upgrade on him. That's the reasons why we're looking to a Gordon. I know he offers a lot of work rate and comes off the bench, but anytime I see him coming on, I'm like, like, what side of him we're going to get? Yes, he's hard working, but the quality's not there. I think we've seen that from time to time, haven't we?
I think the only thing I will say, Fordey, when you look at when the takeover happened and to now, if you said to me that Jacob Murphy's still getting regular game time at Newcastle, I think a lot of Newcastle fans would be surprised. But
he has to. Like, who else we got coming off the bench? We can't use Fraser.
No, I know. But all I will say is that when he comes on now, I don't go, I go, Eddie Howe knows what he needs from a certain player to win a game of football or to keep us in a game of football. I think, look, the fact that he's a Geordie at heart helps him. It does help him a lot. And you can tell that he gives it everything. But in terms of natural talent, he's certainly not going to take Newcastle to the next level. But for what we need right now, Fordey, he's probably not a bad player to have.
Yeah, he goes into the mould of a Longstaff, doesn't he? Like, he'll get us through grinding out rolls and stuff like that. Like, he's got pace, he's quick, he's got an engine, he's not slow. That's about it. But in terms of like finishing, oh man, sometimes I just want to pull my bloody locks out. But yeah,
I hope you don't do that. It doesn't work well, believe me.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I understand where you're coming from with Jacob Murphy for sure. Get your comments in on everything. I'll get a few out later on as well. Sean Longstaff's next. A fellow NE29 man. Liam Kerr's NE29 Wi-Fi has, I don't know what he's done, to be honest. But Jacob Murphy 8 out of 10's absolutely bewildered me, because I had 8.5 for Sean Longstaff, but he should get more because of what you've just said about Jacob Murphy. Look, Sean Longstaff has been the scapegoat this season. He has, until recently, really. More people are kind of understanding why he's in the team. He is a scapegoat, though, isn't he?
Listen, he is the Geordie Darren Fletcher, man. Like, he just...
Whoa.
He is. the Geordie Darren Fletcher. Listen, remember back in the Sir Alex Ferguson era, he always had that centre midfielder who you kind of looked at yourself like, how does he get in a team? Like O'Shea, Darren Fletcher. I'm sure there's another one as well. Like, but I understand now what he offers. He's not like frills and skills and all the rest of it now. He's just got the engine. He can last the 90 minutes. Probably can last 2 games back to back. He's just that guy. But again, in front of goal, he's got no composure whatsoever. Like sometimes some of the sitters that he's missed, it's on par with Joelinton, if not worse. And like he said with Willock, if we get a midfielder, Willock's first to go, but Longstaff's not too far behind him. I think he definitely gets the Geordie pass more than Murphy, of course. But yeah, I see what he offers. Like I said, he's energetic. He'll run for days, the Energizer Bunny, all the rest of it now. But we need to start leveling up now, because in and around that midfield, we can't just keep relying on Bruno to be there. Like as I said, if we take Bruno out of the team, who's going to step up out of that midfield that's left over? Joelinton maybe, Longstaff and Willock kind of are about a similar level. Maybe Longstaff just a little bit above him. So yeah, he's good for now, but I just don't think he's the future of the club. Like, and that's a shame because obviously he's the local guy. But if we really want to start being ambitious, imagine if we finish top 4. Can you see Longstaff starting in every European game? Like, it might be good to come off the bench, but we'd get run ragged against like AC Milan or whoever's in the Champions League at the time.
Look, he is a scapegoat. I do want to ask you a question about the scapegoat debate, if you like. But the one thing that Newcastle fans are only just seeing with Sean Longstaff, the amount of running, the amount of hard yards he has to do, and the amount of tackles that he puts in. And look, he's not a Bruno. He's not a Bruno. Let's just put that out there. We know he's not a Bruno. He's not even a Joe Willock in that sense of what Joe Willock brings to the party. Joelinton, I think Joelinton and Sean, when they played as the two, when we played a 4-2-3-1, when Isak came on against Fulham, I thought the two of them were brilliant in the midfield as a two, as a team. And just thinking, well, come on and get past us if you like. My only grumble with Sean Longstaff is 2 things. One, and the first one he is getting better at. I know he loses the ball at times, and I know some of these passes, especially against Southampton, weren't great. But he has improved on it, because he used to think he had 2-3 seconds in the Premier League in particular on the ball. He's certainly getting better at that, and his passing has improved in terms of not losing the ball as much as he has done. I know he still loses the ball occasionally before he killed me in the comments, but it's not as bad as it was. Yeah. Second thing, he should have more goals. He should have more goals. The Leeds game at home, he should have scored at least one. There was one that I gave him the benefit of the doubt where on another day you do score, on another day you should. It goes in. The Chelsea game, he had a chance second halfway. He probably would back himself to score. So that's the reason why he gets an 8.5 out of me. But the question I want to ask is why are the Newcastle-born fans, in terms of your Jacob Mills and your Sean Longstaff in particular, why do they get the most shit?
Because we've leveled up now. Yeah, I mean, we've leveled up now. We're now tasting. We've gone from like steak and kidney pie to caviar. Like we've leveled up now. We've got Bruno right next to him. If Bruno wasn't right next to him and we still was playing John Joe Shelby, he probably wouldn't get as much stick, because we'd probably be deflecting that onto John Joe Shelby and saying, "Oh, he's lazy," and all the stereotypical comments that John Joe Shelby used to get. But now we've got Bruno next to him. Now we've seen what a prime, ready-made centre midfield and European ball playing centre midfield looks like. They're going to make him look bang average. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've got Bruno Gimenez like playing like he should be levels above us. He is levels above us. And that's what I was worried about at the start of the season. Like, if we don't get top 4 football, then the likes of Bruno is not going to stick around for that much longer. I'm glad we're in this position now, so we're meeting his expectations, because he deserves to be playing European football. He's dropped out of European football to play for us, but he's not going to do it for too long, is he? So that's the reason why, when we're seeing the levels that we can aspire to, the likes of your Brunos, Botmans, Popes, Trippiers, like internationals, and then you're seeing these players, they're making them look like chalk and cheese, bro. It's chalk and cheese right now, and until we replace them, we're going to keep doing that, unfortunately. I mean, there's others as well, but then you got to go through the team and then say, look, okay, most of them are internationals, barring those two.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the reason why, unfortunately, like we're now starting to level up now. So our expectations are going to go a bit through the roof. Before it was like, oh, I'm just happy to be out the relegation zone and we're not struggling just to get to 40 points now. What a difference a year makes, because now we're not bothered about that. Now we're looking, okay, can we stay in top 4 now? Can we sign Anthony? Who's spending £40 million on a 21-year-old prospect for Newcastle? We weren't doing that back in the day. Now we're just doing that for fun. So again, the expectations have gone up. And again, if Longstaff and your Jake and Murphys don't come with it, then sorry guys, Geordies or Toon supporting fans, so be it. You're gonna have to go. That's it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see at least what happens with Longstaff and Murphy in the long run. I think Longstaff's still a level above Murphy in terms of where Eddie Howe sees things right now. But
Longstaff gets a pass. Don't get me wrong, because again, we've not even got that much competition in the centre of the park anyway. The person that I would love to see us sign is Ward-Prowse, because for various reasons, like the goals that he can offer, he eases off some of the expectations off of Trippier in terms of corners and free kicks and stuff like that. And then just in the centre of the park, imagine having like a Ward-Prowse and Bruno in the centre of the park with Joelinton there. Like, sorry, Sean's holding the bench for a while. Like, he's not getting in the team for a while if we do sign him. That's the sort of level that we need to start going up to. Sorry.
Doesn't really, the song doesn't really work though. Fordey, James Ward-Prowse over the wall, does it?
We'll find it. We'll start in the song for him. Don't worry. When he's banging the 35-yarders, listen, you'll sing your heart out for him, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Look, there's a few players that I've put that haven't included the likes of Dubravka, only played 1 or 2 games. Darlow played 1 cup game this season. Jamal Lewis has played, I think, 1 or 2 games. So these would just be non-applicables anyway. There's a couple of the players sort of in that category, but like borderline. So we have got about 6 or 7 players left, plus Eddie Howe. So some of them might be quicker than others, let's just say. Matt Targett is the next one. 40, just very briefly. Hasn't had much game time because of how well Dan Burn's been playing. What would you give him?
I told you. Listen, go back to that Wakefield video. I told you. Remember who sat on my side? I had Liam.
You don't need to listen to this, boys and girls. I've muted his mic. You don't need to listen to this.
Nah. Take your view. Come on. Get your licks. Go on. Listen, I told you, look, the people that sat on my side, you're sensible, you're smart. I told you he's not the next level.
What are you giving him?
I'm giving him a 4.
4?
That's being nice. When's he started? When's he played? I didn't even realize he played for us. Does he still play for us?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I remember, because Cucurella wasn't available. Yeah. He doesn't say that on his run, does he? I think we should go for Cucurella. He's a fantastic defender. So
better than Matt Targett.
He's only going to cost us 62 million quid. That's how much Chelsea paid.
He's better than Matt Targett. Yeah. Oh, Matt Targett, he's got to play. He was great on loan for us. So was Kennedy. And look, what did he turn out to be? He turned out to be shit. Look at Willock. Had a little purple patch. He had to score for shit. Like, everyone gets guys, oh my God, Matt Targett. Oh my God. And then like, he can't even get past the big Dan Burn, can he? No. I told you. Dan Burn. But what?
But if Dan Burn or Sven Botman or Fabian Schär pick up an injury,
then I'll play it ahead of him.
No,
yeah.
but when Matt Targett comes in, you'll still feel quite happy-ish because he knows he's a steady Eddie for Eddie Howe.
Oh, you had to get that one in, didn't you? Oh my days!
Yeah, I did.
Listen, look how many names you had to get through just to get to him. That shows how much far down the pecking order. You said if Ippin, Botman's out, Burns out, Ollie Bernard's out. You said all of these names. That's how far down the pecking order.
That is slander.
You said that. You said about 15 names. You said if Robbie Elliott's out, if John Beresford's out, then Matt Targett gets in the team. Who else you putting out the bag? If David Santon's out, then he gets in the team. Wow. Is that the reason why he's a 4 out of 10?
No, Jonny. I'm still waiting for Claudio Casapo to turn up. Anyway, we'll move on. Jamal Lascelles is what I've got. 6 out of 10 for the captain.
Yeah. Just for those 2 yellow cards alone. That's it.
Yeah. Look, there's probably not many players, and I know probably another example is John Terry, when in his last season for Chelsea, they won the league, he barely played because the team was doing so well, and he was brilliant behind the scenes.
John Terry levels already, is he?
No, but
way.
let me talk. No, but what he's doing behind the scenes, when he's had to be called upon, he's done a good job. Look, he was very unlucky not to take something at Liverpool. Him and Dan Burn in centre half. You know, they played unbelievable that night. It was just one of those things where, you know, a goal happens in the 98th minute. It does happen, but whenever he's been called upon, he's been okay. Look, he's not Botman level. He's not Schär level. He's probably not even Dan Burn level at centre half. But if you need him to do a job 20 minutes from the end, if we want to be ultra defensive, you know, I'm happy with that. And the fact that he's kept himself fit. He's been brilliant behind the scenes by the sound of it, and he's been a real help for Eddie Howe. He's probably and Eddie Howe's probably thinking, look, I'm so glad I've got you as my captain. I think the thing is as well, Fordey, you know, he knows his fourth choice centre half, and there's just been no complaints. He just got on with it. That's what you want from a captain.
No complaints that we know of, but again, like if you're in this position, what do you do? Like you're in a position where you could potentially win something at a club, but you don't play, or do you go and get some, go and get some time, go and get some playing time elsewhere and probably end up not winning something? It's a bit of a tough one, really. Like his mate's just gone out the door now to Hull. Does he go and join him playing at the championship level? Or that's what I kind of wonder for him, because he's still young. And it's like when he was playing, I'm sure he's getting links with the likes of Chelsea's and stuff like that. Now he's not playing his fourth choice. I think he's got more yellow cards than Botman, and he's not even played half the games. But it's a tough one for him, because I would like to see him play somewhere, but unfortunately, like our centre halves have been that good, so it's not going to be in black and white colours, unfortunately, for a while anyway.
No, he's certainly not. John Joe Shelby's next. What do you think? Look, we've heard a lot of things about hair transplants in Turkey and going to Besiktas. Yeah. Look, he's only got 6 months left on his contract, 40. He's got to still try and get, I think, 2 or 3 more starting appearances, not just appearances off the bench. He has to start for Newcastle to get that contract. Do you think he'll get that contract? And would you give him out of 10 so far?
He's not getting them. He would have got them by now if that was the case. Like there's been opportunities where we could have played him. He didn't play in the FA Cup game, did he? Like there's an opportunity to play. He probably could play.
Like he has been injured, to be fair to him.
He's been injured, but at the same time, he's not getting past the current 3 right now. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a tough one for him. Like the old regime is starting to get phased out now. You know, the likes of your Lascelles, the likes of your Shelbys and stuff like that. You know, the only one who's probably made it through from that era is like your Fabian Schär, really, if we're going that far back. But yeah.
What would you give him?
I'd say a 5, maybe.
5 out of 10 for John Joe Shelby.
Yeah, that's about fair, right?
No, it's definitely fair. Look, I think it's an interesting one about his future, but I think Eddie Howe still sees him in his medium or short to medium term plans though, Fordey, because I think he does offer you something. I think straight away when he came into Newcastle, he was like, I want John Joe Shelby in my team. And every manager, kind of bar Rafa towards the end, has always agreed with that. He's like Steve Bruce liked him.
He probably wants around the team
as well.
He probably wants around the team a bit similar to Jamal Lascelles in terms of what he can offer off the pitch, but in terms of how we play now, he's not going to fit that mold because we play high press intensity. And I'm not going to jump on the whole he's lazy and stuff like that, but that's not his game. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the reason why we've got Bruno pressing around the pitch like a madman. Longstaff plays in the team because he's got bags of energy. Joe Willock, like you can see the reason why these lot play. And John Joe Shelby, we would have to then give up, almost sacrifice someone for just to fit him in the team. So it's not going to work. I think it would be nice to keep him around the place a bit like what we do with Matt Ritchie in an essence, like we keep him around the place because he's a senior member of staff. But to play in 2 more extra games for him to then roll on to another contract when he was like one of the top earners as well, it doesn't make sense really.
No, it doesn't. We've got 2 more players and then the manager. Likes of Javier Manquillo, Elliot Anderson. just kind of borderline not going to be getting marks. They might have played the same amount of games as some players, but the reason why we haven't included them is that it's like sub-appearances, like 5-10 minutes off the bench. So it just kind of borderline. I think Ellie Anderson's probably a little bit unlucky not to get a mark, but it's just one of those things. We've got 2 players left. Ryan Fraser's next. I'm going to... What am I giving Ryan Fraser?
It's a shame about Elliot Anderson because the form of Miggy, I suppose, is kind of hindered him in essence, like because he's just been on such great form, isn't it? So it's a shame that he's not getting more first team football.
Yeah, I want him to get a loan move to the Championship if we can get another winger in my opinion. But I don't think that's in the plans, Eddie Howe. But we'll see. 4.5 out of 10 for Ryan Fraser. Just very, very quickly and very, very briefly on it before we move on to Alexander Isak for Mr. Clinton Ford, and then we'll have Eddie Howe. Looks like he's going to be going, in my opinion. I'll be very surprised that if Ryan Fraser's not at another club before Tuesday night, in my opinion, because he obviously wants to play football, which is understandable. I get that, and he isn't getting that. He's 5th choice at the minute, and they're looking to bring Gordon in.
Yeah,
he ain't getting games. So look, I'm a little. I wouldn't say it's a disappointing sign because he's had moments, Ryan Fraser, but I just think we could have got so much more out of him. And there's a number of reasons why that hasn't happened. Like the fact that Steve Bruce and Graham Jones playing him as an 8, when we all know he's an out-and-out winger, it still boggles the mind. But look, we'll see how that pans out. Look, Alexander Isak and then Mr. Howe. So Isak, give me a striker from Sweden. First name's Alexander and his surname is Isaac. What are you giving him?
I'm in between an 8.5 and a 9. I still don't think.
Whoa! He's only playing a handful.
Huh?
He's only playing a handful.
That's what I'm saying. That's a good 8.5 and a 9, right? Like,
you going 8.5? Are you?
I'll go 8.5. Going 8.5.
Okay. Why?
He came in. I still don't think we've seen the best of him, by the way. But he came in, scored 2 goals, 2 in 3, wasn't it? Before obviously getting injured, then he's come back from injury. Looks like he's just picking up where he left off, really. Like scored, albeit a tap in, assisted in the previous game. Like he looks like he can be a real match winner for us. And yeah, Callum Wilson better watch himself because the moment like Eddie Howe actually wakes up and maybe kind of ignores the blind loyalty that he has towards Callum Wilson because he's worked with him in the past and says, you know what, this guy's in form, he's got to play. Or even I would love to see them 2 work together. That would be great. Like, as I said, I want to see like the new Cisse and Bar combination come to life. So 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Look, that game against Liverpool at Anfield, he wasn't offside for that second goal, by the way. I'm not having it. He wasn't offside. But yeah, look, I thought what a debut. And look, so I don't like giving Sam Milner a lot of credit, as you well know, Clinton Ford. I don't like it. I hate it. In fact, I actually despise it. But he was right about Alexander Isak. You know, I have to be honest. I don't watch a lot of foreign football. It's not my cup of tea. I prefer the Premier League and maybe a little bit of Celtic versus Rangers occasionally. That's about as far as it goes for me. But look, for me, he is unbelievable in terms of his pace. He's so direct, which I like. I like that he's got that little bit of a partnership going with ASM. That shuts up all the ASM leaving rumours as well. Injuries have just been so unfortunate for him. Really, really has. And I understand why Newcastle have taken the time with him. Look, £60 million record signing. But the goals return for him already, I think he's like 3 in 6 or 4 in 7, something like that. Like, that's unbelievable when you think about it.
Healthy, mate. It's healthy. Yeah. And it's more to come. As I said, like, I don't think we've seen I don't think he's really even got started. He's still getting acclimatized to the Premier League. The physicality of it, obviously, it's a lot different to La Liga. And again, like what we could potentially see, you know, him playing across the 3, playing in the 2, or even by himself. Yeah, got a lot more to come from that guy.
Yeah, 100%. Get your comments in as well, because that'd be interesting to get a couple of comments on that. Alexander Isak, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to the channel as well while you're at it. Finally, I don't even have to ask Fordey what the mark is for Eddie Howe, because we both know what it is.
It's got to be 10, isn't it?
9 out of 10. No, it's 10 out of 10.
Nah, it's got to be 10.
Semi-finals of the Carabao Cup with a 1-0 advantage going into the second leg. I know a lot of people are thinking Newcastle might get further, but Eddie Howe will not even be thinking of that right now. He'll be thinking, look, we need to finish the job. You know, he'll take 100%. He'll take a draw on he'd take a draw on what's it called, on Tuesday, because it makes it Newcastle are through. He'd be the first manager since Fordey.
What are you looking at, by the way? Are you watching Love Island at the same time? Are you looking over that
I
side?
am, mate. I am just watching Love Island. No, I'm not. But in all seriousness, do you think Fordey? Answer the question. Actually, who is the last Newcastle manager to get Newcastle to a cup final?
What? So, no, cup final.
Yeah,
I was about to say Rafa. It's Bobby, wasn't it?
No. Bobby got us to a semi-final, never got us to a final.
Oh, rude.
Yeah, sexy football.
Oh, God. How could I forget? Yeah, we got spanked both times.
Yeah, well, Kenny Dalglish was the first one when we got beat off Arsenal, and then Rude against Man United.
Yeah, God.
We got tonked. Well, we didn't get tonked, but we didn't play well by the sound of that. Sam tells me all about it, so you'll definitely remember it, because obviously I'm just a youngin compared to you, Stu.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. Oh dear. Yeah, listen.
Tell me about the good old times, will you?
When were they? We still lost nonetheless, even though we got to Barnes. We actually might have a chance of winning something. But yeah, this season, this guy's been phenomenal, man. Like, my only little grumble is, I've said it to you before, I'll say it again, plan B. Which we've not had to use many times. Say again.
Has he not shown elements for a plan B, especially going 4-2-3-1 against Fulham?
So yeah, I'll give him that. I'll give him that, because again, like, we had this run of 0-0s and we was getting found out, and I still feel like we are getting found out a little bit. But the fact that when he played Isak and Wilson together showed something different. But I would like to see him experiment a little bit more if we are getting to that stage where it's the 70th minute, 80th minute, where, you know, it's still 0-0. Because I think even with the substitutions, it's too predictable, isn't it? 70th minute, who's coming off? Jonny? Willock. 80th minute, if it's still not going our way, who's coming off? Almiron. Like, sometimes it might be worth switching up.
What else does he have to do? What else does he do then?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Come up. This is the reason why he gets paid the big bucks, Jonny, and I'm only here in my bedroom talking.
Hold on. We know that you get paid the big bucks as well, Mr.
Nah. But sometimes it might be something different that might make the opposing manager think, oh, I didn't plan for that. Because, you know, if you're doing your scouting homework, you probably know that 9 out of the 11 is going to start all the time. Like, there's probably only 1 or 2 that might switch and change around. But when it comes to substitutions and changing stuff around, it might be worth doing something different. I don't know. Maybe chucking Dan Burn up top, winning all the headers. Have you ever done that before? It might be something worth doing. People might think I'm bonkers for saying it, but at the same time, it might make the opposing manager think, hold on, I've not planned for that in my book. He doesn't usually do that. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of plan Bs. If it's not going our way, then that's the only thing. But apart from that, he's had an absolutely legendary season, man. Like, and again, if we finish top 4, win a cup, listen, get the artwork out, mate. Get him a statue, mate, straight away. We've given...
How you get paid the big bucks for what you do, and you're saying stick Dan Burn up top?
Mate, it's... Okay. Back in my day, yeah, when we're chasing... Well, when teams are chasing something, they'll stick a centre-half up top, win all the flick-ons, win all the headers. That's a different tactic, mate. Rather than just going, oh, Chris Wood on, Jacob Murphy on. Like, it's too predictable. We've all grumbled about it. Don't lie and sit there, people, and be like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen next. Oh, Joe Willock, I didn't see that happening. Joe Willock for Jacob Murphy. Like, it's the same substitutions all the time. But if we try and something different, again, that's just a suggestion. So don't kill me in the comments. But as I said, that's the reason why he gets to pay millions. And that's the reason why I'm sat here, you know, I'm just coming up with suggestions, but it's just something that makes the opposing manager think, oh, that's something different. Oh, how do we counteract that? Because it's going to be kind of hard trying to counteract 6'7" centre half going up top, doesn't it? So, you know, if he does it in the next game, then I want humble pie from you, mate.
Yeah, humble pie. Anyway, I want to see if you agree with me on this. If Pep Guardiola and Manchester City win the league, which I still expect to happen, by the way, I still think Man City will win the league, which I know is a different subject altogether. But if Mikel Arteta wins the Premier League with Arsenal, but Eddie Howe gets Newcastle to the top 4 with a Carabao Cup in his back pocket, is Eddie Howe manager this season?
It's hard because I'm biased. Of course, I'm going to say Eddie Howe. I'm going to back my guy, but you know they always go with whoever.
What is the Cockney inside you going? Well, Arsenal deserve to win the title.
Nah, fuck them. You know, listen, they've done it so many times. Like you said, if we end up with the same amount of silverware, albeit obviously lesser silverware, if they win the Premier League, but like you said, if we finish top 4, obviously, but if we finish top 4 with Carabao Cup, then it's got to be us, right? Like. We're still coming from.
We're still fighting for this title.
But yeah,
they've got to go to Man City and get something.
You're putting all the quotes out now, isn't it?
I know.
What's the next one? I'll love it. Go on. I'll love it.
If we beat them, I'd love
there
it.
You go.
That was just for you, Fordey.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
But yeah, look, it will be interesting to see what happens. But look, please give this video a like because we've been on for over an hour and 20 minutes, and I've really enjoyed it actually. Ford, it's been really good. It's been really good, really funny listening to you and talking to you. And that's the best something you'll ever get off me. I'm telling you.
I know, right?
Are you at the game? Just a side note, are you at the game on Tuesday?
No, unfortunately not. I'll be watching it from home. But
well,
hey ho.
To be fair, I should have given you the big drum roll. You know, I did that as Sam last week, and he was absolutely raging. He's like, look, I said to him, I said, look, these are the games you just don't want to miss. And look, Sam, the big question is, where are you watching the game on against Leicester? And he's like, in your fucking living room. So he's at the game on Tuesday. So if you do see him, make sure you say hello to him. He loves all the attention. He secretly says he hates it, but he loves it really. But yeah, look, that is the end of today's video. Please make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Tuesday's just 4 sleeps or 5 sleeps? What, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 5 sleeps away from that second leg. We'll have all the build-up going into that game with previews galore going into Newcastle. There's a Southampton and it's transfer deadline day. There will be a video on the channel as well. Is Anthony Gordon coming? Is Hakim Ziyech coming? Is somebody else coming? Is Ryan Fraser leaving? Is John Joe Shelley going to Turkey getting a hair transplant? Who knows? But Newcastle Fans TV will be the first place to bring you all the latest information in regards to that. Newcastle might be on the way to Wembley. This has been half-term report for scoring the players. Big thanks to Clinton Ford, as normal. Voice of reason-ish anyway. We'll see you later on here on Newcastle Fans TV.